Last week on Talk SA, we were in Rustenburg in the Northwest Province to take a look at the legacy of the Bafokeng clan and how that's benefiting the locals.
Nice!
But because lechai ke lechai, ke boetse for gae.
You'd be interested in this for drama and for art, so we've had concerts here and we've had visiting guests.
Thank you for your post on our Facebook page, and remember, Mzansi, your comments help South Africa to keep talking. It was a cold morning on the 16th of June in 1976. 5,000 students gathered in Vilakazi Street to protest against being taught in Afrikaans. But the march, which grew to 15,000 uninformed scholars, never happened. A policeman fired a shot without warning, and 12-year-old Hector Peterson was fatally wounded. June 16th is forever etched on our nation's conscience. More than 30 years later, this day honors the death of hundreds of Soweto school children. It's a day that changed the course of our history and showed that it's possible for young people to bring change in our country. Today, youngsters are not fighting for the same things, but they are also facing challenges that they need to liberate themselves from, such as unemployment, HIV, poverty, and crime. Some are not waiting for government to do things for them. They're liberating themselves from the circumstances and building a better future for themselves with dance and music.
Homa Africa Borwa a mangata, June 16 e ka Soweto uprising. Ebile ho bohlokwa ka ho fetisisa ke letsatsi le ileng la bopa history ya Africa Borwa jwalo ka ha re tseba kajeno. To some, it's a day to commemorate fallen heroes and to celebrate the victory over apartheid. And to others, it's just a holiday, like any other holiday.
Now in Tokyo Youth Day, I'm celebrating as a youth. University a unity as a whole.
And it's on the 16th of June.
Well, obviously our parents, our grandfathers, great-grandfathers, obviously fought for freedom.
A lot of people lost their lives on Youth Day.
Hector Peterson got hurt in that incident when students were fighting over the rights of South Africans.
But people died, you understand? That will always stick. But people died, and people were not supposed to die.
And everything like
Shouldn't the legacy of today remind us that the youth have the power to change history? Now, we might not be fighting for liberation today, but we do have challenges that we need liberation from, such as unemployment, HIV, poverty, and crime.
The challenges facing the youth these days are alcohol.
Alcohol, it can lead to so many things, hey?
And then, the common challenges, kilabona, varsity, no parents, you have your friends, la influencer.
Because most of the time it is perceived Gucci maybe ingam, like he's just exposed to intense by as compared to Abu Dhabi. Yeah.
There's no one who's helping. I want to chill it, let say a step further. I understand. So we don't know where we're gonna end up. We don't know what we are doing. Understand? Yeah.
We must just be thankful for the freedom that we have today. That's all.
So, I think ngaba into enhle like satha labantwana abancane sibayise lapha eOrlando museum lapha sibabonisa ukuthi kwenzakaleni kudala, especially kune cemetery lapha abantwana abazi ukuthi kuyini, babona nje kuyilitshe elihle nje lihlobisile, abazi ukuthi kwenzakalani.
We celebrated by like chilling with friends, few drinks, yeah.
And please don't overdo your fun, you understand? When they have fun, why are they having fun on that particular day, you know? Let us go to museums and know more about this freedom.
No alcohol, but for tea, yabanda, June, coffee, hot chocolate, whatever it is. So this is special crane.
Relax on your family, you don't have any stress. I think this is about June. Yeah, no, me that is
yeah, this crane, no alcohol, tea, guys, coffee, tea,
no party,
hot chocolate, some things, yeah.
Babang habana nako ya hu emela mmuso hore uba etsese dintho. They are liberating themselves from their circumstances and building a better life through dance. Ribuaka hip hop, cramp, crank, pantsulas, bourgeois, joalo joalo.
After the break on Talk SA, we are in Cape Town to speak to the Cape Flats Collective and have a sit down with Soweto's finest.
And like, I was the only one who actually had talent. Yes, it's
Hona jwale re tlo dula le tse ding tsa di-dancers ho tswa ho Cape Flats Collective. Sehlopha seo e leng se seng sa dihlopha tse kgolo tsa dance. Now they are trying to find one South African hip-hop identity by fusing indigenous African styles with crumping, popping, locking and new school.
Hip-hop is a movement. It consists of different elements. It's b-boying, MC, graffiti, DJing, and knowledge of self. It's like a ghetto superstar. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do now.
Ik begon te dansen eindelijk the age of 5, 6. Dit was nou Michael Jackson, obviously, is mijn inspiration. En toen volgens was dit nou trompies en ze weet local dances soos ate. Dit ook van my geïnspireerd tijd want Kwaito was baie groot tijd. Ik het niks geweet van b-boying of popping of locking of house. Ek het niks kramp. Tijd het ek niks geweet daarvan nie.
Maar dus hip-hop gevat het en het gemixt het met die main traditional dances van Afrika. Of ja, sê Afrika ja. Maar dus Cambodge, Botswana, Kontim en Nama, Khoisan dance.
Einde van die dag, ik dans, dit is mijn livelihood. Ik maak een carrière hiervan. Daar is mannen wat gewoon hardlopen in die pleinen. Wat op drugs is. Jong ouderdomme, 16, 14. Wat niks doen met hulle leven nie. En ik vat het zo, ik is een danser. Ik is niet eens een policeman nie, of een nurse of een dokter nie. Uit die school, uit college toe. Oké, ik ga zomaar nou een accountant. Dat is makkelijk, eindelijk. Omdat je dan wat? Zij staat die voor zoveel jaar en zij krijgt jou het zoppie in. Dat is klaar. Om iets te doen wat zij wil doen.
En ik meen dat so wat ik doe is completely useless. You know, so moet je voor mij onderschat. Dat is misschien niks staan heel te doen.
Je mag doen something else. Voor hoe kom ik iets anders doen? Dat is mijn ding. Omdat je dan wat zij eraan te zeggen, nou, die wat ik doe, is niet goed genoeg. Pat. Als ik nou hier op mijn kop spin, dan gaan ze zeggen, oh,
nou, hoe kan dat wel goed genoeg zijn?
Ja, hoe kan dat wel goed genoeg zijn? Hoeveel jaren staat die vertij wat zij moet lezen en uitschrijven? Maar ik heb hier gegraven hier op die vloer met kop.
Niet zoveel jaren,
niks hier gemaakt voor 5, 6 jaar. Om het zoveel zoals nou doen. Nou kan ik misschien niet 3 rotations doen. Dat is heavy, dat is zwaar. Maar het wordt een ervaring. De andere mensen nog altijd, wat is dat man? Dat is niks, dat is makkelijk. Kan die man aan, die zijn net. En ik is een hip-hop dancer, ik is een krampenpapa, lokke vangstijlen. Ik breek goed.
Het is nou zo groot nou in internet en wat gebruikt dat. Toen het gaan doen, research. Met enige ding. Zij moet research gaan doen. Iemand kan nou iets zeggen, maar 50-50, waarheid of onwaarheid, zo. Doe niet research.
Remote Protea Glen go Soweto, which is where bourgeois comes from. We're going to be chatting to Soweto's finest, headed up by Tom London, who devised bourgeois. Now, this is a form of dance that requires you to move every muscle in your body in order to bust one move. Samarani, hey. Ninjani.
Hi, finest.
Tom, awusitshele kahle kahle, yini is bourgeois and how is it possible that you use every muscle in your body?
You need to use each and every muscle in your body because we use our feet, we use our knees, we use our waist, we use our shoulders, we use our head. We use our neck. It's the smoother version of ispanzula. When you look at ispanzula and you look at ispochwa, you get to understand why ispochwa looks similar to Ispansol because it's derived from Ispansol.
And there's this thing you would see about tagging the youth. Is it that youth Yamanje, do they have everything in common? Is there only one story that needs to be told? Is the youth all boxed into one group, or are we versatile? What's our story? Because can you actually tag the youth with one specific way?
Yeah, it's hard to pile because at the end of the day, banana roka ofela, re tswela mabiala, re tswela ho tsuba, re tswela lo ho hlopha batho ba baholo ha ba tswa mesebetsing re bankele di-person thonyana tse jwalo. So ntho e leng bohlokwa ka ntho re etsang is the fact hore re zama ho change tagline eo ya hore the youth ya today is doomed. So we're not all about alcohol, we're not about smoking and drugs and so forth, but we are about giving back to batswadi ba rona bontate moholo ba rona re ba jwetsa hore ra leboha hore le lwele abo go Tabo Hector Peterson ba tlhokofetseng rena re sobe le knowledge ya tseba gore ka sa no tlebo le jang gore tla be re le free re tla be re gone o jive mo strateng re sa tshwara di dompas ntonyana tse jwalo global. So basically it is not, you can't really tag everyone into one sentence and say or youth ka fela ya tshwana, you know what I mean? Yes, majority ke batho ba ditlapo, ke batho ba menate, ke batho ba swag. Swag ke yone important. So exactly. So renare to hell with swag, we have ambition. You understand? So that's what Sowetos Finest is about.
It depends, because abanye abantu bathanda like we tshepela mo tswang go teng, like maybe I go background and get bad, then that means go ka se kgone tsela pele. So it's up to you go batlang and what you want. And for me now, I had like, it was 5 guys, really 5, and like I was the only one who actually had talent. Yes, it's so I was the only one who specialized in that. So they knew how to dance, man, not like me. Because man, you excel in one. So yeah, it depends. And as you know, June 16. It's the day for youth. So back then, they used to be free, like to get freedom. So as Tina Silana, we show you had freedom and so right as a youth. So yeah. Puma enjoy to fun and life, but yeah.
Yeah, I get to show you. You know, as abantu abasha, now the struggle is no longer for freedom. Ikona inkululeko senzani ngayo. And tell me, when aputwami mawucabanga, why is it ukuthi abantu abaningi abasha abazenzi izinto bahleze emakhaya, they're waiting ukuthi uhulumeni ubanikeze izinto, they're waiting for handouts, they're not doing. What is it that's making them kanjalo and bangashintsha kanjani?
Well, I think it's because well, from inside, they don't have, some lack the passion and the drive for success. They look at a fancy car and say, wow, I want to drive that one day, but not knowing the hard work that comes within that, you know. And just actually go do something about it. Everybody's going to want to sit and say, oh, well, life, things comes on its own. People aren't driven enough to actually go do it on their own. So that's what I think is the main problem in youth today.
And tell me, Mr. Brown, they're sitting and they're waiting, and they're not getting up in the morning and doing. What is a day in the life of Soweto's Finest like? Ninsanchani, you know, daily, or manama performances coming up. Like, what is your program?
First thing first, ne? Practice. Practice is the most important thing, like Soweto's Finest. And food, like, yoga, making sure it's like, before we young performer, like your feet, everything it's on point. Music, ready, impahla, the uniform, like on point. Like we make sure everything is on point, like every time.
But wait up. We haven't taught you slogan, so it was finest. As him telling
yes.
Like it's heaven took a rhythm, gave it a soul, gave it a mission, and put it on earth and named it Soweto's Finest.
Yeah! Okay.
5 years ago, before I lost my parents, this is where it actually started. So we're gonna show you now how we used to practice. I used to teach 79 dances on the street.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Show me.
Alright.
After the break on Talk SA, the Cape Flats Collective and Soweto's finest meet head-to-head in Joburg at Mix It Up.
Arrived, I was just blown away immediately by their ability, by their hunger, and I kind of immediately saw like West End or Broadway.
The British Council, along with other sponsors, the Goethe Institute and the French Institute, sponsored the show Mixing It Up, a showcase of hip-hop dance and giving South Africans the opportunity to experience hip-hop dance with South African flavor in a theatre.
That's what happens to eat before the show. A half a chicken. There ain't no chicken.
Taking a shower before we mix it up on stage.
Represent Cape, I represent Kaapstad.
I'm expecting, mixing of South African culture and I guess American culture. I don't know. Yeah.
I think we've basically got our own flavor as well. You know what I mean? Like since we got the old crumping thing that actually basically does come from Africa, it's just the Americans made it big. So at the end of the day, we got that whole African thing there.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Daddy.
Nothing exists but you and that stage.
Yeah. You just came. Right. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to be scared when you go on stage. You're not going to know. You're going to be like, must I stand here? Must I go here? So focusing on yourself and knowing exactly what you must do is good enough, because once you know what you're going to do and you're confident, everyone else in the group picks it up and they'll all be confident as well with you. So either way, you'll all be like, feeling the energy.
Well, Mix It Up was actually about creating a new South African hip-hop language, because hip-hop is actually the same everywhere, internationally. If they go and compete, it's the same language. So we also wanted them to create a new vocabulary and also make it theatrical, not like the battle, because they're so used to compete. So now it was actually about coming together, all diverse cultures, doing something uniquely, kind of artistically creative on stage.
Together, so when I first arrived, I was just blown away immediately by their ability, by their hunger, and I kind of immediately saw like West End or Broadway. The quality of the, it can get to that quality because of the mix that you've got of traditional African music and hip-hop, and literally that mix of styles. I see no reason why it can't get to somewhere like Broadway. It's amazing.
First of all, like hip-hop as a tool wat jy kan gebruik om enigiets te bou. As 'n baie positiewe hoe kan ek sê element wat ons het in hip-hop, van die 5de element is like knowledge of self. As jy jouself ken nie, dan wie is jy? Wat doen jy hierso? Wat is die rede van wat jy nou hip-hop doen, verstaan jy? So like we always use hip-hop as a building thing. As you can see, there's verskillende mense op die stage. Daar's kleurlinge, daar's swart mense, Zimbabwe mense, Franse mense. So hip-hop is nie nog 'n vel of 'n ding nie. Dit is 'n kleur van vel, verstaan jy? As maar net hoe jy voel oor dit. En as jy miskien dit in jou hart voel of in jou lewe miskien voel dat hip-hop is deel van jou lewe, dan dis definitief die move om te doen, verstaan jy? So vir my is dit like ek vra myself altyd, wat sou ek gedoen het sonder hip-hop? En ek weet nog nie. Daai is maar net die enigste vraag wat ek nog nie kan antwoord nie.
For me, like I found that the crew that you're in,
you end up actually becoming a family. So you guys always supporting each other with different things. It's not only about the dancing, that's what I found. And the dancing actually just makes it better because it's something that we all love to do, we all can do it, and we all try better ourselves by helping each other out. So that's what I think is the nice thing about dancing.
And what we're doing here tonight is, we're originally probably from all over, but we love the street culture of Johannesburg. And I'm very much into anything funky and that comes from the street.
What I'm taking away is a massive smile, a lot of love in my heart, and pride in what we've done, and proud in what they've done, and just the fact that they've come on this journey and not bothered about, okay, this is supposed to be hip hop. They've gone, well, it might be hip hop, but we're doing something else with it. We're taking it to another level. So a great deal of pride on what they've done, what everybody's done to make it happen. So that's what I'll be skipping away back to the UK with.
Ours, you follow your dream and go do it. And do it for yourself, because the only gratitude, the only thank you're gonna get is what you feel inside. So go out there and do it. But as you do it, then you like, you just have like a guilt for the rest of your life and say, I never did it, regret, verstaan. So as you do, then it's like almost yourself fulfill in a way. So as you didn't know do it, then wanneer gaan jy dit doen?
Your nation builders for the week this week are the Cape Flats Collective, Soweto's Finest, and Mix It Up.
Die naam is
Met die oomblik is ons in die oorspronklike watertank.
Whilst we remember the youth of 1976, this week in history, Thabo Mbeki was born in 1942. And then in 1999, he became the second democratically elected president of our country. And who can forget that glorious first goal scored by Simphiwe Shabalala during the World Cup in 2010? Ke mo re fellang teng ka jeno hopolang ho kopana le rona pageng ya rona ya Facebook Talk SA le ho Twitter @ayampama. Ha re bueng, let's keep talking SA.